What's going on, guys? The Comics Kid 2099 here. Today, I want to talk to you about The Adventures of Brisco County Jr., the complete series. This is a sci-fi western that aired in 1994, just one season, about 22 episodes, I think. And this stars Bruce Campbell as Brisco County Jr., a bounty hunter who is fascinated with the coming thing. Basically, he is really excited about stuff that will be coming in the future. And he teams up with another bounty hunter, Lord Bowler, who is played by the guy who played Shonuff in The Last Dragon. Which is a movie that I've never seen, but I recognize the actor. And then you've also got some other characters who kind of flow in and out. John Astin plays kind of a Doc Brown type mad scientist who kind of helps Brisco every now and then. There is a femme fatale lady who is a singer and dancer, Dixie Cousins. She's kind of the ongoing love interest for Brisco. There is a guy named Socrates Poole who is a lawyer who is kind of the mediary between Brisco and his bosses. And then you've got Comet the horse, who I watched this series with my dad and my mom, and my dad said he is the brains of the operation, the horse is. And I didn't really like this series. I thought that I would. I really had no idea what I was getting into here. The tone feels very silly. It's a very campy show, and I think if this had started a year or two later, I think the tone would have been very different, because this started around the same time that the X-Files started. I think X-Files may have started a year later, and X-Files, at least at first, took itself very seriously. You had funny moments, you had funny episodes. There was the one with the vampires. There were episodes that didn't take themselves too seriously, but on the whole, the series took itself very seriously. And so this, I feel like, would have benefited if it had been just a smidge more serious. The opening episode has Arlie Ermey playing Brisco County Sr. He gets shot like 1,000 times by like 13 people. And so the premise of the series initially is Brisco is hired by these robber barons to find and capture all the people who killed his father. And it's not until like the last 2 minutes of the episode that we even get to see Brisco mourn. There's a whole lot of like hilarious pratfalls throughout this season, and there's a lot of that in the first episode. And I'm thinking, can we just take a moment to like have a serious moment with Brisco mourning for his dad? It reminds me of the YouTube channel Just Right, where he talks about Bathos in the Wonder Woman movie and compares that to the Doctor Strange movie. And I wish there was more of that here. I wish there was more of this series taking itself a little bit more seriously. But that's not what they were going for. They were going for kind of a goofy comedy series that doesn't take itself too seriously. And there are specific things I really hated. There's a lot of references to stuff in the future. There's a character that they meet a couple times who, for no reason at all, talks and acts like Elvis Presley. I don't get it. At one point, there's a character, they're on a trip to California, I think. They're going somewhere, and they're in a wagon, several characters, and one character dies, and then this other character starts reciting lyrics from Beatles songs in the eulogy. I don't know why. There's several moments where Brisco, like I said, he is fascinated with the future. He is really excited about stuff that is futuristic. And so at one point, we see some bad guys riding a motorcycle. And Brisco's like, wow, this is awesome. Or you see something like a Gatling gun or something. And then you look this thing up and it's like, oh, a motorcycle was invented like 30 years before this series takes place. It takes place in 1894. And there's one that's really egregious where this one guy, he says he's going to invent something, and then you find out he's going to call it denim. And it's like, denim was invented around the time of the 49 gold rush. I know that, and I don't know anything about history. So there's a whole lot of moments like that where it's trying to be cutesy and say, look, there's this thing that's going to be really popular in the future. At one point, there's a blimp. It's a hydrogen blimp instead of a helium blimp, or whatever it normally is. It's the opposite. But they're on a blimp at one point, and there's like 2 or 3 references to the Hindenburg. At one point, one of them says, oh, the humanity. And some of that I'm okay with, but this series just goes way overboard with it. And there is an element of time travel here. You find out that the main guy that Brisco is hunting down, the one who's the leader of the gang that killed his dad, you find out he is from like the 25th century. And if you had a time traveler who was part of this crew, and they're constantly making references to stuff in the 20th century, stuff that none of the other characters would understand, I would be fine with that. But you have some guy who's not a time traveler who talks and acts like Elvis Presley. Or you have, at one point, some characters in jail start doing an air guitar battle. I don't know. I don't get it. It's not funny. It thinks that it's being really cute, and maybe if you're a child, that kind of thing is going to fly. I didn't like it. So overall, I think the series is okay. It's good if you want to just throw something on in the background, but it didn't do it for me. I don't have a whole lot to say here because there's not much of a series-long arc. Brisco is hunting down all these people who killed his dad, and he doesn't even capture them all. At one point, we're told that he captured everyone, but if you count, there's like 3 or 4 who he never did capture. But there are several actors here that you will recognize, kind of minor actors. One of the henchmen of the main bad guy, he was actually in Burn Notice, which I reviewed a little while back. He was the last big bad guy in Burn Notice, and he was also in the TV series Alphas. He played Stanton Parrish. He kind of is just hamming it up here. I think he's done better performances than what he did here. There's also the guy from Lost with the eye patch. He's in an episode. He plays a pirate because apparently we needed to throw some people raiding wagons in pirate costumes for some reason. There's a lot of characters here, a lot of actors you will probably recognize, but overall, this was a concept I was looking forward to. Kind of a weird science fiction-y western thing set close to the turn of the century. I think I could have really been on board with that. The old 1960s TV series Wild Wild West had a little bit of that, where they've got gadgets and stuff that look more at home in a James Bond movie, but it's set at the time of the Civil War. I think I could have been on board with this, but this just doesn't do anything for me, and it's hard for me to explain that. Maybe other people who really like campy television will enjoy this. I did not. I wish that it took itself a little more seriously. I wish that it tried a little harder with its references. So anyway, maybe you'll like this thing. If you are a Bruce Campbell fan, you'll probably like it. This seems kind of right up Bruce Campbell's alley. He does a lot of kind of cheesy B-list type stuff, but I wish I liked it more than I did. So those are my thoughts on Brisco County Jr. I hope that you guys liked this video, and if you did, be sure to like, share, comment, subscribe, do all that stuff, and I will be back in the future with more videos. In the meantime, have a good one.